Good morning guys, welcome back to Wednesday's video here at Barham Engines. Just sitting outside here in the morning. I think I feel a little bit of heat. Does that mean we've got summer coming? If you haven't already guys, please hit that subscribe button. I know some of you hate me asking and you won't do it if I ask, but it is a big help to the channel. So if you could guys, just hit the like button, hit that subscribe button, be much appreciated. Okay, so we got a little job down here that come in a week or two back. We've been meaning to get to it, but obviously we've had a few things to clear up. So this is a Mazda MX-5, a 2002, and it's in for, I believe, a rebore and face the block. It's got the crank assembly, which needs to be balanced, etc. Isaac's got that round on the crank balancer at the moment, but the customer looks like he's had a go at knife edging it from watching one of our videos, apparently. So this is it on the crank balancer.
Yeah.
To be honest with you, it looks like he's gone at it with an angle grinder.
But cheese grater or something.
For an angle grinder, it's not too bad of a job, is it?
No, looks all right, really.
Really?
From a distance, you think, oh, it's knife edged.
Yeah, not bad. But we're going to see how out of balance this thing is, because we would expect this, if he hadn't have knife edged it, this would probably usually up by worst case sort of 40, 50 maybe.
Yeah, that'd be
a really bad one, wouldn't it?
Yeah, quite bad if it was up there, but...
So let's have a look, see how bad it is.
Oh
Off
dear.
the gauge.
Yeah.
Not great.
Not a good start.
No, and if you... This thing is spinning at 400 RPM, and if I feel that, you can feel that vibrating at 400, so 4,000, God knows what it would be like.
Yeah.
So if you turn out on the left-hand side, see what that one's like.
That's... Same again.
Same again, off the scale.
So that's not done it any favours, really.
That feels probably worse. So if we just stop that for a moment, mate, we'll have a little look, see what the problem could be. So when I knife edge these cranks, what I tend to do is put the, is it the cross slide? It is, isn't it?
Yeah, cross slide, I think.
Cross slide, I think. I'm sure people will correct me if it's not. So we put the cross slide over at whatever angle you want to cut at, depending on the web thickness, and I tend to just turn it in this angle here and get the thicknesses of the webs all the same really on all of them. But I can see on this, just from looking, this side you've got probably about as thick as I would go. So you've got sort of, I aim for about 3 or 4 mil thick, but over here it's fairly thick still. So I think the best thing to do for this crankmate is if I stick it in the lathe and I'll true it up.
Try and get it a bit nearer.
Yeah, we'll probably have to do it properly, but I'll give the customer a quick ring, just let him know what the plans are.
Yeah.
Otherwise we're going to end up removing so much material, it's going to probably look even worse.
Well, it probably may as well have been not knife edged if...
Exactly,
like,
really.
After I'd be done with it, so.
Yeah, although he's, as I say, although he's done a good job with an angle grinder, as good a job as you can do, we're probably just going to have to turn that and do it properly.
Yeah, I wonder if he'd run it like that, because I bet it would have been a bit.
I shouldn't think
so. Vibraty if he had. It's
going to be horrendous.
Yeah.
As I say, this machine spins at 400 RPM, so at 4,000 RPM, that's going to be terrible.
Yeah, that wouldn't have been very nice.
No. Yeah, so we'll get this in the lathe. I'll give him a quick phone call and we'll turn it and see how bad it really is. CVH.
Oh yeah, got the Pistons now, haven't we? So
quite excited about doing the old RS Turbo, mate. Been a long time since I've done one. I think the last time I did a complete RS Turbo was probably my own.
How long ago was that?
Ages. Done plenty of cylinder heads and a few rebores and that, but to be honest with you, I never had like a massive demand for doing these.
No.
I think the problem is with these, that once upon a time, now the cars are worth a few quid, but once upon a time when they were all the rage of tuning, it was just literally tune it up, put a cam in it maybe, but people didn't really have the money to...
blow it up, get a new one from the scrapyard, innit?
This is the trouble, yeah, there was sort of loads of second-hand motors floating about, and people never did these properly. The cars weren't worth anything, really,
no.
Quite a long time, but they sort of are now. So I think that's the case with this one. He's restoring the car, so it's got to be nice, isn't it? And he wants a bit more poke now. So what he's done is I've sort of asked him a few questions on what route he wants to go. He's left it with me. So what we've done, mate, obviously the pistons, this thing has been apart before and it has been bored, etc. So it was at 0.5 mil. And the only trouble is with the RS turbos at 0.5 mil, when you've got to go to 1 mil, there's only really about 3 brands of aftermarket pistons that you can get in 1 mil. 2 of which are okay. I would use them if we could, but rather use the Wiseco. So these were on back order. These are a replica of the originals on the crown, but they're obviously a forged item, and we all know that Wiseco is a good brand. So
yeah,
well worth the wait, mate, if he's not in any rush.
Yeah, they look good, they do.
They are, they're nice.
Nice and meaty in this department.
Yeah. So we're going to use the standard rods. Now the first problem I've come across with this is the original pistons have not got a circlip in them. So it's it's a shrink fit in the rod,
yeah,
a bit like on the minis,
yeah,
same sort of thing. Whereas these pistons do come with circlips. Okay. Now fortunately the pin diameter on the new ones are exactly the same as the old ones, except they're about 1/2 thou bigger actually.
Right.
So we're going to be fitting these to the original rods and doing a shrink fit. So we're not going to be putting the circlips in.
Oh, okay.
You can do without those. And we're just going to be doing the shrink fit on them.
Fair enough.
The other thing to do would be buy a set of rods, but they're quite difficult to get for the RS turbos in aftermarket. The usual Bridgeway don't do any. I think Max Speeding rods do them, but whether they've got any in stock, I don't know.
So the issue with the gudgeon pin is that's too big for the rod, because the rod obviously is a shrink fit.
Yeah, so you'll have a...
It's too big cold anyway.
Yeah, so this will not go in there cold. We have, you know, on the aftermarket ones where if you were to buy H-section rods, they would come with a bronze bush in here for obviously the pin to turn in.
Yeah.
And then you would use the circlip, so it'd be a nice slide fit into the bronze bush. Whereas these have got an interference tolerance, so that housing is smaller. How much smaller, I don't know, probably about 4 thou, something like that.
Yeah.
So you have to heat that up, put the pin in the fridge, and you know what it's like, mate. It's all a bit of a timing thing. You've got to slide that in. Once it's heated up, it swells up enough to get the pin in there, and then as soon as it cools down and heats the pin up, it all closes up and grips the pin. Job done. So we want to be using the original rods. The next thing is the rings. So we've got the charts up here of the piston to wall clearance. What I did was bore this block and honed it to the round figure 81 mil.
Yeah.
Knowing that usually with Wiseco they run a bit extra clearance.
Okay.
So we've had to go out they give a recommended 3.5 thou running clearance. So we've gone plus 0.5 thou on that because it's going to be tuned. So we've had to take about another thou out of these bores to clean them up, mate. So that's the piston to wall clearance done. Obviously we've faced the block. Now we're almost certainly going to have to take some off the top of these pistons to get the deckite right, because they do come with a little bit more meat on the crown.
Right, okay.
For that reason. So when we do our dummy build, we're going to have to take some off that. Next thing is the ring gaps, mate. We've got a chart here for the ring gaps. The oil control ring is big enough anyway. You've got about 25 thou of clearance on the gap there. I've checked that, and they don't give a specified clearance for that reason, because they're always bigger on the oil control on anything really.
Yeah.
So here we've got the top ring and the second ring. Okay. So the second ring is a cast ring. That's the oil scraper.
Yeah.
And the top ring is a chromium. And they give all your clearances here. So if we go for the top ring here, they give all your different applications. It's usually like an American thing they do there, but it's very helpful because we tend to, on a lot of stuff, go for the rule of thumb of 4.5 thou per inch of bore.
Yeah.
This is basically a 3.2 inch bore, and we're going to be tuning this. So we've gone for a Newman Fast Road cam and vernier pulley. And we've got a hybrid turbo that we've had done. So it says mile boost up to £15, is 5.5 thou per inch.
Right.
But this could end up over that.
Okay.
So on 15 to 30 pound a boost, they give 7 thou. So we're going to probably go for that just in case. It's going to be absolutely fine below that, but we'll probably go on the safe side just in case he ever chooses to go for it. So 7 thou per inch of bore, mate. If I get me calculator, so 7 times 3.2 gives you 22.5 thou on the top, and if we go over to the middle, gives again 7.3, but we'll go for 7 on that. So 22.5 on both, basically.
Yep.
So we've got a top ring in here, a second ring in there. We've done our usual, put the piston down so we know that that ring's sitting square. And what I'll do is I'll start on like 17, see what we got. I don't even go in there. That does go in there. It's fairly loose. So 21's a bit tight in there. And 19 it's about 19 that. So we've got to go about 3.5 thou bigger on the second rings. Yep. See what we got here. 13 goes in easy. 15 is a bit snug. It's 15, that is. So we've got to go 7.5 thou bigger on that. So you can see how important it is to get these right.
Yeah.
Basically, if he started running, you'd probably be okay with that if you're running normal 10 to power. 15 psi, maybe. Usually I think they're about 10 standard. But if you started running big power with this, that ring gap could close up, cause premature wear of the ring or the bore, or it could break the ring or break the ring land. So that's my next step on here, mate.
Yep.
As I say, we've got the cam, we've got a Newman Fast Road cam coming. The Newman Fast Road cam, they only do in mechanical adjustable tappets. So standard, they're hydraulic. So we're going to go manual tappets. We've got to set the clearances 8 and 10 thou.
Right, so full solid conversion.
Full solid, yeah. We've got the vernier pulley. We've got an uprated clutch kit coming for it. So we've got to face that flywheel. We've got to balance the crank assembly once we get the clutch kit. And we've got a few of the bits coming from Burton Power. So yeah, well on the way with this, mate. Hopefully this time next week we should be pretty much there with it.
Ideal.
So yeah, we've got it all painted, cleaned up.
Need to go through the cylinder head, don't we still?
Yeah, we've got to go through that. It looks like it's been done in the past, doesn't it? But just need to we'll strip that and make sure it's all right.
Hey, mate.
Fixing air leaks, are we?
Yes.
Can't be doing with the hissing, especially on camera. Very annoying.
I sorted it at the shop blaster end, but I think we need to take that out and sort it properly.
Oh, we sorted it down there. That had a big hiss. That's not too bad now.
No, it's not as
Probably
bad.
Sounds horrendous on camera. But how are we getting on with the knife edging?
Pretty much done now, but
first
go at it. It's a bit you have to wrap your head around it a bit.
That's it, yeah. So you've trued it up a lot more than it was.
Yeah.
So in a minute we expect we'll get that on the crank balancer. But what's your technique then, mate, in doing this?
So basically, with this spanner,
yes,
undo this nut on here.
Yeah.
I've done it upside. There's two nuts, but I've just been using the one.
Yeah, just use the one.
And that allows that to move.
And you get the correct angle.
So to start off with, as you taught me, if I can get it to spin around, you sort of start on more of an angle.
Yeah.
Like that. And then you
It's a bit of a pat your head and rub your stomach job, isn't it, doing all this?
So you want it like this thick.
Yeah.
Sort of about that.
So we aim for like 2 or 3 mil sort of thickness on the edge there. It's difficult with this one because he's ground it with an angle grinder, so
Yeah.
you can't see where the original casting was. But
So if you sort of set it up, well, say you had a full web there,
yeah,
you'd start like over here on the edge of the web,
yeah.
feed that across, and then you keep going back till you're sort of at your thickness or whatever.
Right. So we start at a steeper angle,
Yeah.
and get the back here to the thickness you want.
And then once you've done that, got your thickness, and you start adjusting this round, doing it
Yeah.
up, feeding that in again. You get a bit more of an angle, and you keep repeating that until you sort of get it how this is.
I see what you're saying. Yeah. So basically, you start off with a steeper angle. You get the width of the front here how you want it, but you probably end up not where you want down here. So you just adjust the angle in until you sort of cut it down to where you want, and then you keep that angle, note it, and do the same on each of these 4.
Yeah.
And then turn it around and do the other 4, innit?
Fully round like that, and do the other ones.
Yeah.
Yeah, all done now. So
Oh, that's all right. So hopefully it's trued it up, mate. We should get that on the old crank grinder.
Yeah.
Sorry, the crank balancer.
Yeah, the balancer.
And see what it's like.
Yeah. Hopefully it's
Interesting.
a bit better now, but
It'd be interesting, yeah.
yeah. Hello, mate.
Hello.
What are you doing? Balancing rods?
This is the CVH, mate. I've been on the CVH most of the day when I haven't been disrupted.
Yeah.
So yeah, using the original rods, I've sized them all. They were probably about 0.8 of a thou oval, 2 or 3 of them. Yeah, so not great. So I've took them out to the maximum. Fortunately, they were on the smaller side. So I've took all them housings out to the maximum, mate, and I'm just balancing them end for end. Now the big ends, torqued them up. It's a fairly light torque on these bolts.
Oh, right.
The Cosworths are about 45 foot-pound. These are 26.5 foot-pound on the big ends. So I've torqued them up, obviously blasted them, cleaned them up a bit. Got a little bit of surfacey rust come up there, but never mind. And first of all, I've done the big ends. So fortunately on these rods, you've got a big old lug here, which you can remove material off.
Oh, yeah.
But these were, at worst, from light to heavy, they were 9 grams different. It's quite a lot, isn't it?
It's quite a bit, yeah.
So we've took those down. Now I'm doing the small ends, and the small ends are about 3.5 grams different. So these 3 I've done. This is my last one. These 3 are, sorry, that's me heaviest there. So you've got 134 is what all these 3 are. And this one here is 136.4. So 2.4 grams heavier. So not too bad, but I suppose when you consider a small end's quite small, it's quite a lot of weight, really. So well worth doing, mate. So I'm just going to take a bit of material again off the small end. You've got a big old lug there.
Oh, that's ideal.
So that is all I've got to do there. When we are balancing end for end, as you know, we need to, what I try and do is make sure that the big end and the small end are square to each other.
Yeah, so square like that way.
Yeah, I try and place the rod on that jig there. Not that it really matters, but you see the end where the tag, the opposite end to that, so it's nice and smooth. Making sure that if you've got a bit of debris in there, it could make a hell of a difference, believe it or not.
Yeah.
So we feed it onto there, and I try and get it in the same position every time. So I keep it flush with the front ends every time.
Yep.
And you can see it comes up fairly accurate.
Yeah.
You find with this thing, it is a bit funny. If you started to twist it like that, it almost pulls it down into the scales there.
It really makes a difference, doesn't it?
There's
if you don't have it square.
There's a bit of an art to it, isn't there?
It is a bit fiddly.
Yeah.
And sometimes you can get a bit frustrated with it, thinking, why is it saying a different thing every time?
I know, until you get the hang of it, and then you sort of, when you play about with it, you get to know where it's got to be, and it stays consistent. But so, yeah, we're just waiting on the bits now, mate. I would have thought they're going to be here probably tomorrow.
Right,
maybe
so
Friday.
what's that, all the gaskets and...
This is the clutch. Got the gasket, so it's the clutch kit. A few other bits that I've ordered. The camshaft. The camshaft won't be here till next week.
Yeah.
So we're going to be end of week before we finish this, but I can get it, the bottom end all built up.
It's not too bad.
So yeah, it's like good progress really.
Yeah.
The bits are all ordered for this now. I've ordered the pistons and the con rods.
And that's this MG.
This is for the 1800 K series, yeah. So I said to you in one of the videos last week that I potentially could have had a sponsor from Max Speeding Rods.
Yeah.
They did send me an email saying, do I want to collab? But it was middle of last year. So I've emailed them back, but I haven't heard anything yet. So for this one, I've just gone and ordered the rods because otherwise we're going to be a bit behind with it.
Yeah.
So how are you getting on with the crank?
Pretty good. I've put it up on the balancer.
Yeah.
And the results are a lot better.
Let's go and have a little look. So this is just by truing it up. I mean, to be honest, I'm half expecting it to be a bit out because obviously he's gone at it with the opposite end to where we
so
trued
we couldn't
up.
really do anything with that, could we?
So shall I spin it up?
Yeah, spin it up, mate.
We'll go right hand side. About 30, 35, that's better, isn't it?
Yeah,
that is how you would sort of expect a normal crank to be-ish.
Well, yeah, normally about that, if not a little bit less, but that's pretty good.
Maybe. And then just below 20 on the other end, that's really good, that.
Yeah.
It's made a hell of a difference, mate.
Because before it was just shooting straight up, wasn't
exactly,
it?
yeah.
No hesitation.
Yeah, so you'd have been... It was well worth doing that because you'd have been there forever trying to bloody remove material.
Yeah.
It just looked a terrible state, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
At least we know that's all true now. You can see before this web here was a lot thicker, but you've removed material off there now, so it matches the other side.
Yep.
So yeah, ideal, buddy. We'll crack on and finish balancing that.
Yep.
Get the block sorted. Job done, isn't it?
Cool.
Well, guys, thanks very much for watching. Until next video. We'll see you then. Take care, guys.